Good evening, everyone. Welcome to EISCP live webinar series. So, EISCP is conducting a series of webinars under the life theme along with Soaring Sparrows Foundation. So, today we are conducting the one webinar series on the waste management. So, life is an initiative of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, which is a India-led global mass movement to protect and preserve the environment. So, life was initiated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji at COP26 Glasgow on November 1st, 2021, and it has become a mass movement for mindful and deliberate utilization of resources instead of mindless destructive consumption to protect and preserve the environment. So, it aims to nudge the individuals and communities to participate a lifestyle that is synchronous to the environment, as well as it does not harm the nature. So, those people who participate and practice the lifestyle which is nature friendly, recognized as a pro-planet for the pro-planet people. So, India is the first country to include life in its nationally determined contribution to propagate healthy and sustainable way of living based on its traditions and the values of the conservation and moderation, including through the mass movement for life as a key to combat climate change. So, in this we are also having the mission life, so which is aiming to protect and conserve the environment by the year 2028, with at least 80% of the villages and local bodies are aimed to become environmental friendly. So, in this mission, we are trying to propagate the healthy lifestyle practices. So, under this the life program, we have waste to wealth. So, this is a one very good initiative which focus on the demonstrating innovative technologies for recycling specific material from different waste streams such as hazardous as well as agriculture and municipal waste. Life program has a waste management to other environmental topics such as climate change and protection of water resources. So, finally, life has actively contributed to the waste prevention by raising the public awareness, promoting the exchange of knowledge and developing the information tools for the better waste management. So, apart from that, Niti Aayog has constituted committees for developing circular economy and action plan for different categories of waste, and MOFCC is has become the nodal agency to form a circular economy action plan, as well as providing the guidelines for extended producer responsibility with respect to the plastic recycling as well as plastic packaging, plastic waste management rules for 2016. Under this, MOFCC has also initiated life program under the EISCP, so which is practiced across the 80 different centers of the state as well as the NGO agencies. So, with this brief introduction, I would like to welcome DrVaman Acarya along with his daughter Mohini Acharya. So, welcome to you, sir. So, DrVaman Acarya, who is a graduate from Karnataka Medical College, Hubli, in the year 1975, served as the coastal as well as the tribal areas of Maharashtra, and after that he returned to Karnataka in the year 1985 and started his own agencies with respect to the industrial fabrics as well as biomass fuel. He started solid waste handling unit in the year 1996 at Bangalore and successfully implemented the viable and functioning system for conservation of non-hazardous solid waste into organic manure and biomass fuel, and he has founded an NGO known as Samagra Vikas, so which is working actively in the field of biodiesel as well as alternative fuels, rural employment and rural development. So, he has conducted several programs including seminars, conferences, roundtable workshops on biofuels, and also worked on the implementation of biofuels in the public transportation as well as popularizing its usage with respect to the biofuels. So, he has also participated several environmental movements such as Save Western Ghats movement, Sharavati Tile Race movement, and served as a chairman Karnataka State Pollution Control Board from 2012 to 2015, and he has contributed in a diverse with respect to the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. He has simplified and effectively implemented the online consent system. Sorry. So he has also prepared a framework for garbage handling. He has started a Green Bangalore project. So he initiated 1 tree per person and also implemented noise pollution reduction schemes and also effectively implemented the laws and administrative reforms in the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. He is presently working as a member of Empowered Committee by the MOFCC Government of India. He is known to be his communication skills, as well as he has participated in several discussions with respect to the electronic as well as print media. He has worked as a political sphere in many capacities: national executive member of BJP, state general secretary, as well as spokesperson of the party. He has also initiated environment friendly lifestyle activities, and he has also started providing the solutions for a green lifestyle. So along with that, we also have Mohini Acharya, who is a CEO of Sunrise Compost. She did her bachelor's from Visvesvaraya Technological University and master from Monash University, Australia. She has also tried various ways with respect to the which are contributing for the green lifestyles. So she has worked on the edible oils, converting the fatty acids from the distillation plant, and also she is working on the residues from the oil plants, and also she is working on alternative fuels with respect to the by propagating the biomass based fuels. She has currently contributing and also leading the industrial waste management unit at Sunrise Compost. With this brief introduction, I welcome wholeheartedly Dr. DrVaman Acarya as well as Mohini Acharya to this webinar series. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar. Waste is such a broad term that whichever we don't want, we call it as waste. The general concept of waste in city areas is garbage and unwanted things. But there are many resources in cities and rural areas which have a lot of 2 centuries or more. We are today focusing on these biofuels. Yes.
So as we were talking earlier, we wanted to focus on certain aspects of this huge field of waste management, which deals with organic waste to energy. So we have, as a company, done many experiments. We have brought many experiments to actual industrial level, understood this whole field, because whenever we are talking of sustainability, I think economic sustainability is as important as environmental sustainability. Although our primary focus is environmental sustainability, the whole process, the whole project has to be even economically viable. That's when that process stays for long and really yields long-term results. So with this backdrop, we thought we could focus on these 3-4 subjects. First one being biomass briquettes and pellets, which generally is called as biomass fuel. Then we thought we will cover the other project that we did, which is wet waste to biogas, which is anaerobic digestion process. And also the other upcoming line, which is making ethanol out of organic waste. So if we could first start with biomass fuel, briquettes and pellets. I remember the days when we started this whole project, and we faced so many challenges. So if we could start from why should we go for briquetting and pelleting? Briquetting and pelleting is densifying the biomass bringing it to a shape where it can be more efficient as a fuel. So if we could start our discussion with why briquetting?
Well,
Why not use the wood as it is? Why not use any other biomass as it is? And why go for this additional operation of briquetting and pelleting?
yes, by and large for last several centuries, as I have already mentioned, firewood was one of the important sources of energy. Then came this coal. Coal has a very specific problem. Coal and petrochemical products is they are lying in deep earth inside. Taking it out, burning it will produce so much of carbon dioxide additional. Probably our earth is not in a position to contain that. So much of carbon dioxide if we produce, there are other effects. Yes, tree that way is a green fuel, but there is a limitation. India also has a plan to have at least 30% forest cover. Unless and until we take care of our forests, because most of our forests are also rainforests. They fetch us oxygen, they fetch us rain, they are also the place for habitat of several wildlife which are part of the whole ecosystem where we are living. So we have to move a little away from this. Anyway, few thousand years back, agriculture growing systematically what man wants for their need of food, for their need of cloth, were developed in agriculture. But all the things in agriculture are not useful. There is a lot of waste that we just throw, or sometimes we compost, sometimes we just burn. You must have heard recently around Delhi, Noida, that area, after taking out what human beings can use, the straw or stubble burning was one of the very big problems for even up to Delhi. It was a big pollution problem. Then there were thoughts how to come out of this, because in previous years all these straws were being used as animal feed, and now the number of animals has come down. The use of these agro wastes has to find a new way. So all these agro wastes, if compacted, now Mohini was asking, why only these biofuels? Why you want to compact when it is easily available? Yes, there is a reason why they have to be made into a briquette or a small pellet shape. Number one, storage and transport. Agriculture wastes are generally loose and light in weight. One full lorry of material, at the most you can carry 8 to 10 tons or even sometimes less. If they are compacted, the transport is easy, storage is easy. Next is burning is easy because they are concentrated. They really give you the required heat of 4 or 5,000, 3 to 4,500 kilocalories, and they can be used in chulas or in big ovens for burning and getting sufficient energy. Briquetting also, or pelletization. Briquetting is just put this loose dried agro biomass and compact it with a mechanical press or hydraulic press. Then a compacted material comes out which is almost resembling wood pieces which we used to burn in the past. So this was very important to compact them and store them. This is where the importance of briquette came.
I remember you used to call briquette as white coal.
White.
So both color-wise, it is little lighter than coal, but white coal with a sense of giving hope, so that we are saving for our future, and we are using something which has already gone into the waste stream, bringing it back to use, and at the same time saving the fossil fuel from running out for our future generations. So this was one option that we have tried, but we have also seen so many challenges in this biomass briquetting and pelleting line. I think we should also mention the challenges that we have faced.
Biomass briquettes, I call them as carbon neutral, because we are not taking out something from the deep earth which is already made into a fossil, made into a storage there. We are using agro products which has already taken a lot of carbon from my own atmosphere, purified the sky, and then sequestrated this carbon into their products. So most important was that. Second one was, for this coal or loose biomass burning, there is lot of fly ash. These fine particles go to the sky. But whereas if you go to compacted material like briquette and pallets, you have compacted, you have reduced the moisture into it to as low as 5%, 6%. That gives you quite good energy efficiency, and also the fly ash is quite less. So with this advantages, briquettes are important, pallets are also important, especially if you want to use them in industries, even at home, in your boilers, and also for producing power. In fact, today in India, most of the power that we need is being generated by burning coal. It has to come down, because if we want to reduce the total carbon that we are leaving to the sky, it is essential that the use of coal itself comes down. So how do you do? Slowly go on adding either briquettes or pallets, or even direct biomass through pumps or burners, and by them. That will bring down the use of coal on a large scale. They can be replaced slowly, as our Honorable Prime Minister did for petrol. Initially he started with 5% ethanol, then he said 10%. Now recently, when he had come to Bangalore in our exhibition hall, he announced that some 85 petrol bunks will serve 20% ethanol mixed petrol to the public use. Why? This means the circularity, where we have lot of greenery and we have possibility of growing still green things. They have to be, if they can be used. We are not drawing any carbon or carbon dioxide from giving it back, giving it to the sky. We are taking it from the sky itself, storing it, then using it for energy sources. So this becomes a carbon neutral energy source. This can be used for power generation. This can be used in day-to-day cooking needs. Probably today or tomorrow, one of our friend here, Tejaswini Anant Kumar, may come and deliver some speech on this subject. Few years back, they were using gas, this LPG for their cooking. They cook every day for more than 1,50,000 students for midday meal scheme. It's a huge program. Then one day we met, then we had discussion, how can we also be carbon neutral instead of taking out LPG and using it? How can we be neutral? Then we had the discussion about this pallets and briquettes. Now they have 100% replaced all their cooking by biofuels or these briquettes. Means there is a potential that is, this has to be done on a systematic, large scale, but the raw material also should be made available.
So there are these challenges, there are small bridges that just needs one small nudge, one small push to be able to reach that logical end. But there is hope, there is possibility of making biomass fuel available to replace most of our fossil fuel needs. So if we go to the next option of putting organic waste into energy form, we could probably talk about the biogas option, where wet organic waste can be digested anaerobically and made into biogas, and which again can be a replacement for LPG consumption.
Yeah, now biogas has been known to our people for almost last nearly 50-60 years. This has to take into a shape of everyday household. We have lot of kitchen waste every day we generate. We have other agriculture waste also. So all these materials put together in an anaerobic condition, the gas is formed. Gas can be almost equivalent to these LPGs. They can be used. We have seen in many of the rural areas that biogas is being used for their day-to-day cooking needs, for their hot water.
Biogas typically coming from gobar,
Gobar gas, right.
Cattle
Yes,
excreta.
cow dungs or all types of dungs have lot of, they have both the bacteria needed to break this carbon chain and make them into gas. Also, there are a lot of latrines we are using. We still face problem in handling our human excreta waste properly and on a large scale. Still we are trying to do many things, but most of the things are not working. I still feel that if people come out of this feeling that the gas that comes from human excreta is not holy, is not good, we have to come out of all these things. People have started reprocessed water now. They drink this water, purified water. If that is the case, we should also focus on using human excreta, animal excreta, because animal excreta, if left alone, they will definitely generate methane whether you want or not, and that again pollutes the sky. So catching every gram of animal excreta and human excreta along with many of the agro wastes and kitchen wastes, putting them together and making biogas is also is a very good alternate as a fuel, because this again is a carbon neutral material, and whatever that remains at the bottom or even the water you drain out are very good sources of nitrogen to the earth and also to very good carbon to the earth. That carbon will not join the sky, it will be to the earth, and you will get a better yield of agro products next time. So biogas is one thing which needs to be focused little more. In most of the cities, now few cities are trying to, municipal waste is another big source which remains unsolved. Even in city like Bangalore where we stay, the municipal organic waste is still being dumped into low-lying areas and nothing is being done to it today. A lot of methane comes out of it. Water also gets polluted because of the leachate and a lot of bad smell. Instead of doing all this, India is trying to, our Prime Minister is putting stress on all these issues and making Indian skies or the whole world universally into carbon neutral, or Modi ji has promised to the world that by 2023 particular target, 2026 one target, by 2028 we will reduce carbon emission to such an extent that we want to be leaders in the world even for getting a good environment and reduction in carbon emission.
So sustainability has to become a lifestyle, has always been our philosophy. So we have done so many activities as an industry, as something which can be made into a business model. We spoke of biomass briquetting, which can replace coal. We have spoken of biomethanation, biogas, converting wet waste into biogas. And we have also done some work on converting plastic waste into fuel. Although there are few gaps in terms of technology, in terms of logistics. All these need to be fixed. Fortunately, there has been a lot of attention being given for all these type of activities in the current days. We have those last miles to be walked yet. While at industrial scale all these activities are happening, how to make sustainability a lifestyle is something that we all keep thinking.
Lifestyle means right from the cloth we wear, right from the way we travel, right from the way what we eat, means less processed food, for small walking, for small distances, better walk, don't use your vehicles. As far possible, use biodegradable materials as your cloth. Many things are there, but as you have mentioned, plastic is one of the great problems, right from ocean to the sky. Plastic has to be reprocessed. Wherever it is possible to recycle and reuse, fine. But wherever end of the life plastic means nothing else can be done out of it, here is a scope to heat it without the availability of oxygen, which we call it as pyrolysis, and whatever fumes that come out of that heating, if condensed, give a very good fuel which is equivalent to diesel. But there is a need, as Mohini you were telling, that there is a gap, that whole such oils have to be still purified, made into a liquid fuel which is almost equivalent to the petrol or diesel, which can be used even in aeroplanes. Why in only cars and tractors and JCBs? This is possible. We have done it on lab scales, but making it on large scale and making it available, and because petrol is not going to last long, we have to depend on ourselves for most of the needs. In last few years, because of the leadership by Shri Narendra Modi ji, we have seen our energy needs coming from solar, from even now hydrogen, wind, then tides from the seashores. There are still many. We are trying, and if we can harness all these energies, I think our goal of living a very simple, harmless, I stress that don't harm the next generations to come and the earth and the forest. Here is a need that we must use the science and technology and change our lifestyle as well. Amalgamate it together, we can have all the things we need. I again come to this good old slogan, here is everything for your need, but not for our greed. We have to simplify our lifestyle also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. There are hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, sir. There are some questions and observation from our participants. So, sir, can biogas work for our daily routine usage?
Yes, I have seen in many villages that the whole big family, because they have some 4 or 6 cattle and another 6 or 8 peoples living there, plus other agri wastes. All, if they can feed it to biogas, direct biogas connection to your kitchen will serve your complete day need. There are examples. Such small versions were tried in towns. Still, I think technology has to be little refurbished to give such small. Means you use your own kitchen waste and little of other waste, put them together and make gas for your own use every day. It is possible, but somewhere, as Mohini was putting, that there seems to be a little gap between what is needed and what is presently available. It's not that it is impossible, the gap is there.
So as I see the lifestyle of the current generation, I also sometimes feel some extent of centralization would also help. If there is a biogas plant which is catering to say 40-50 tons per day of wet waste, rather than every kitchen where every household has to put effort to make the biogas plant run and yield good results. If there is some level of centralization where some 4-5 localities come together and arrange for a dedicated service provider, a dedicated plant where a certain size of a biogas plant can function, I think that's one of the possible way out into
Okay,
making
okay, sir.
biogas a feasible solution.
For household use, because what is that Bangalore has tried. I think in Bangalore Mahanagarpalika area itself, there must be some 25-30 such biogas plants which are not for individual use, they are for community use. Here is a need that the community also comes together, takes initiative, takes a drive to run. Some one secretary from the whole community will be there. All these apartments can have. It needs a little of social movement. Also.
Exactly, because it is not completely a self-sustaining process. Somebody has to focus on what is going inside this plant, whether it is highly acidic, whether it is highly basic, because these microorganisms which are operating in biogas plant, they're very sensitive to the prevailing conditions. So we have to make sure that the proper food is given in a way that it is needed by those microorganisms. Such monitoring, such slight technical nudges are needed, which a dedicated team only can do. So for that whole thing to function, I think a sweet size has to be identified, and only that size plants would do justice, I think.
Okay. So there is a follow-up question. So can the kitchen waste can become the useful with the production of biogas?
It is.
And if you yes, can you state the process and please help you with your answer?
Yeah, there are many available plants. People can go and see. Some hotel people have done this because they have a lot of organic waste every day. You have to store all the organic waste of the whole day, then make it into a paste. Now there are small equipments available which you can put it to your wash basin itself, where you wash your pots, and even the water which you have used for washing can all be made into a paste and directly pumped to a biogas. And biogas availability at the beginning, okay, even if it is sufficient for only breakfast in the morning, we should start it. Slowly, it can be evolved into the whole day need.
Okay, sir. There is a question from one of the participants. What is your suggestion for alternative material usage? What is your suggestion for alternative material usage for plastic?
Plastic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, now for day-to-day needs like carry bags, which can be easily replaced by cotton bags or bags which can be used several times. Otherwise, we had a very bad habit which we had developed in last 10 years. When you go to market, you don't carry anything. But I remember my own parents used to go with bags. Oh, when I used to see a bag in their hand, I used to ask, oh, are you going to market? Now people used to go without anything in the hand to the market. And while coming, they will bring at least 10, 15, 20 plastic bags. So alternates are available, but plastic is such a great, useful material. We have to take care that they are not disposed here and there, and they are properly recycled, reused, and also now there are possibilities that bioplastics are now available, biodegradable plastics that can be an alternate, but presently their cost, their usability is is not still convincing to the masses today, but that day also will come. That is going to be an alternate.
Okay. So, thank you. Mohini madam, you highlighted regarding plastic waste to fuel. So, what is the process and cost and benefits to help out our audience?
So there is this not very unknown or not very new process which is called plastic pyrolysis. So the name suggests pyro is heat, lysis is breaking. So this in simple terms, it is breaking down plastic, which is a polymer chain, into shorter molecules in a way that it reaches a form which is a liquid fuel. Basically, it is the concept is all plastics have their origin in petrochemicals. So taking the plastic back to its original form, which is the petrochemical form, so that it can be used as a liquid fuel, which is more efficient rather than and non-polluting rather than burning the plastic itself. But though it looks so good on paper, so good while talking, take the plastic back to the petrochemical form and put it to a better use, it is not as easy as it is said. Because there are so many, as I was saying, technological barriers where converting plastic to fuel, though technologically sometimes it looks viable, but practically when it is put to work, like say for example, collection of plastic, we have to, it is such a low density, high volume material that collection itself is an expensive affair. Then you have to clean it, shred it, then densify it, and then put to a process like this, and then get an oil out, and then further distill or purify the oil so that it is fit to be used as fuel. So this whole long process is something which is possible, but needs to be streamlined, made available at a cost which is viable as a business model as well. So this plastic pyrolysis is one such very promising process where plastic waste can be put to a logical end.
Okay. Thank you. There are some questions from KK English Medium High School students. So since they are traveling in the bus, so they have messaged me some questions. So they have recently visited Adamya Chetana facility also. So how the solid waste of the city can be effectively managed, whether with respect to the organic, with respect to the organic waste.
So Adamya Chetana is also giving their wet waste to us. We are composting their wet waste.
Not much. They are using their wet waste in some other ways, but they also give it to us. But what they have done is reduction of waste itself is one of their ways, and even the washing of the pots and all this water also they put it for biogas. They mix these together, biogas and also fuel briquettes, and use them. But one thing is clear, that using biogas will not replace everything, all the fuels right now. We are only at the beginning now. Slowly, I look great chance, great opportunity to escalate this into fairly big energy source.
So when it comes to city waste, I think it's all well known that segregation at source is one of the most essential and the best beginning of the solution. But then there is also the end of the solution which should not be neglected, which is processing. Once there is segregation between wet and dry waste, what happens to that segregated waste is equally important. So the segregated wet waste, the easiest and the best possible way that we have found out is composting, because composting is a very robust process where it is less sensitive to the conditions. So composting can be one of the best solutions, but then there are issues such as there is aesthetic problem. Somebody comes and sees a composting facility, ones such as ours, how much ever clean we keep the surroundings and how much ever greenery we maintain. The moment somebody looks at a composting pile, they say, oh, I don't want this in my backyard. You know, there is this mindset. But we have to come out of this mindset because our cities have grown so big that composting facilities cannot be pushed out of the city forever. So composting, I think, is one of the best ways for handling wet waste. Dry waste, there are other options available, like taking out the recyclables and non-recyclables going to co-processing to cement kilns or to our facilities like pyrolysis. So the possibilities are many. All the links have to be joined together and made it into a possibility.
Composting is important. Composting is important because our lands are also craving for carbon and nitrogen. So a good quantity of organic material going to the earth, fully composted and in a useful way, is also an essential thing. But along with it, gasification or even drying that material and burning and generating power, all these options. And as we have already discussed, you can dry this all municipal waste and make them into liquid. But it is a difficult issue. It is easier said than done, because this has about 88 to 90% moisture. So taking out this much of moisture is quite expensive and presently not viable. A day may come when people buy biomass briquettes at a better rate. Today I think the rates, when I started, the rates used to be around 2 rupees. Today they are in the range of 12 rupees. So it may go up and make it viable. The situations themselves will make it viable. We have to be ready with our infrastructure. Right.
Okay. So follow-up question to the earlier one is there emission from briquette burning? If so, how to reduce the emission?
It is as much as burning wood, comparatively less because the moisture content is less. They burn till last. The ash content is 5 to 7% only, and since moisture is already removed, most of the moisture is being removed. It burns properly, and briquette pollution is not as bad as coal pollution because
there is no sulfur.
There is no sulfur. Number one, there is no fine fly ash. Number two. Number three, most important thing is we are not leaving any extra carbon dioxide because the tree has done its service throughout life by absorbing carbon dioxide from the sky. It has sequestrated into itself. It is like Vishakantha. It has taken all the poison into its throat, into its body, and gives energy and light to us. So briquette pollution, not to worry.
Okay. So what is your view on problems faced by our cities, especially managing solid waste?
Solid waste, I think there is a problem with the management.
I always have this problem with the phrase waste to wealth. I think by using this phrase waste to wealth, that there is wealth in the waste, we are missing out on this very important aspect, that there is processing that is needed. Wealth just doesn't come out of it. There is processing, and especially in cities, solid waste, what we have realized out of our 25 years of experience is that we spend more than what wealth we get out of it. So this gap, the government or the system has to make up for.
I think people themselves can. I see that the corporation collects as high as 3 rupees per kg from each household, and they are not ready to give even 1 rupee for disposal. Most of the money is eaten away by these collection and transport people. Final processing, nobody is bothered. When we went and contacted for the first time the municipal corporations, they say this is a wealth. In fact, you have to pay us back. Yes, as Mohini has told, it is wealth only when it is processed. Gold is a wealth, but taking it out from kolar fields and purifying it, it costs. It needs lot of energy. That has to be done. Our municipal or local bodies have to understand that final disposal is their responsibility. Not just taking out from city and throwing it to some low-lying areas. Or when I remember during my tenure, we had put up around 20 plants around Bangalore for making this municipal waste into manure, into gas, many things. But today, practically none of them are working. People have opposed, they feel that they get smell. This is there all over the world. Even when I see in America, there is a smell. But people have to tolerate. This is the mess that you have created. People have to be educated that a small amount of disturbance will be there, and we all have to make efforts together to get rid of such things and make it into a useful product. And just don't keep blaming. Everybody wants garbage to be handled, but not in my neighborhood. It should go away. I have seen people staying in apartments, IT industries, people opposing tooth and nail any organic manure processing near organic waste processing near their residences. It should go away. Where it should go? It should go to villages. What wrong villagers have done? We should go there. So this mindset change, and our local bodies also have to change. There is a dire negligence as far as our local bodies are concerned. For final processing, they are not worried. They are only worried about taking it away from here.
Okay, sir. So there is a question from one of the students. Many trees are being cut by BBMP in road widening and flyover construction. So what is your advice to the city management?
Yes, trees are being cut, but sometimes when we take development, when urbanization is increasing, a vehicle, if it takes 10 minutes to cross a bridge, it creates more pollution than what a tree can do. I don't say that trees are not needed, they are needed. But if BBMP or the local governments or the forest department can take tree plantation on a large scale, this year BBMP has declared in their budget that we will plant 10 lakh trees. Even if 3-4 lakh trees survive, compared to what we are cutting, this is great. City has to grow, infrastructure has to come, and just opposing for environment's sake is not sustainable. So we have to take both the things together. We have to see that most of the trees remain, but at the same time, for metro, for overhead bridges, some compromise may be needed.
Okay. There is a question from Dr. Kushbu. So does individual agro waste provide good energy as a fuel, or combination of one or two provides the better energy?
Depends on what we are using. We have found that for the diesel I said, from plastic to fuel, liquid fuel, all the energy parameters are almost same with diesel. But there are few things which give little lower energy also. Mixing two is also should be okay, but individually they are quite efficient.
Okay, sir. So there is one question. Do you think a Clean India program is working?
Efforts are there, we are better, but the final step, we are still not putting it properly. The final disposal of the waste is not happening. Lot of money comes from central government to villages directly, to towns directly, to make composting, biogas plants. Lot of money comes, but our government system, if you go down, unfortunately, our central government is far better, our state governments are okay, but if you go to taluka and village panchayat levels, nothing gets implemented. So, Swachh Bharat or Clean India program will be effective only when every man, every elected individual, every government servant feels that it is my responsibility. That our Prime Minister is trying to imbibe these qualities into our public, but I think we are still long way to go.
Sir, final question. What is your message to Bangaloreans to ensure environmental friendly lifestyle? In simple words.
Yes, this is very important. One is, I'll start from their housing. Many of the rich people, the houses they build are huge and there are hardly 3 people in the house. And it is not needed. You are using so much of resource like wood and tiles and bricks and cement. All these things have eaten thousands of units of electricity, power, human energy, natural resources to bring it to this space. Do you need such big houses? Water. Kaveri water comes from 100 kilometers distance or even sometimes more. We are using that water to wash our cars and floor ruthlessly. We just don't even bother what is happening there. The food we eat, so much of complicated cooked food or ready to eat foods are not needed. They are not only harmful to your health, they are harmful to environment as well. More and more you process, more and more you emit carbon dioxide and other gases. Life has to be simple. Now, the biggest polluter for Bangalore is vehicles. We are using vehicles even for very small distance. When we were there, we used to go to school by walk 6 kilometers every day, I remember. But today, even for 1/10 of a kilometer, people are using vehicles. If you stand near any school, there are hundreds of cars, scooters, motorcycles standing there. Our children should say that, Papa, I don't want your scooter drop. I don't want to come in your car for school, for vegetable shop. I would like to go by walk. If these simple lifestyle habits, I will process my own waste. I will not throw away anything. All these simple things. I will switch off a light. I will turn off my water tap. Simple things. I will not use paper napkins unnecessarily. I will use less of water. There are many things. I will not use much of plastic. I will not carry a plastic bag anywhere. I will prefer carry a multiple use bag. It need not be only cotton, but multiple use bags. So I think we have lot of scope. We can bring down the total carbon emission to less than 1/10 of what we are doing today by just change of our lifestyle.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Now I request Dr.
Ask him to please the same message in Hindi.
Sir, there is a request. So if you can share one or two sentences in Hindi so that it can go to the regional level.
जब हमने इतने लंबे तक इंग्लिश में चर्चा की, मुझे आपने तो बताया था आप कन्नड़ में कर सकते हैं, मैं फिर भी सोचा कि इंग्लिश में बात करने से थोड़ा ज़्यादा लोगों तक मैं पहुंच सकता हूं, मगर आज का आपने जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन पूछा, प्रश्न पूछा, उससे मैं चालू करता हूं और एक 2-4 स्टेप्स पीछे जाना चाहता हूं। हमारा जो लाइफस्टाइल, हम जैसा जीवन जगते हैं, जगाते हैं, इसमें बदल होना बहुत जरूरी है। हमने सुबह से शाम तक हम खुद कितना कार्बन एमिशन के लिए कारणीभूत हैं, कितना हम कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं, इसके बारे में भी सोचना बहुत जरूरी है। पानी से लेकर बेंगलुरु गांव में तो, बेंगलुरु शहर में पानी 100 किलोमीटर से बेंगलुरु आता है और पानी इतना प्रेशियस है, फिर भी हम सुबह उठ के पाइप लेके कार धोने के लिए इतना पानी छोड़ते हैं, इतना पानी छोड़ते हैं। हजारों लोग ऐसे हैं कि पीने के लिए भी पानी नहीं मिलता है उनको, गंदा पानी पीते हैं दूसरे गांवों में। बेंगलुरु में रह के आप इतना पानी वेस्ट करना जरूर नहीं है। मैं ये बराबर नहीं, ठीक नहीं, ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता हूं, ये जरूर नहीं है। ऐसा ही हमारा कपड़ा, कितना पैर कपड़ा हम रख सकते हैं, कपड़ा कैसा रह सकता है, कैन वी वेयर सिंपल कॉटन ड्रेसेस, कैन वी हैव मोर सिंपलर लाइफ इन अवर फूड हैबिट्स, लाइक सुबह उठा तो हम फूड बाहर से मंगाते हैं, वो पैकेजिंग में आता है। ये सब जो है ना, एवरीडे लाइफ कार्बन कंट्रीब्यूशन आकाश के लिए होता ही रहता है। ये नहीं होना है तो हमारा खुद का जीवन का जो पद्धति है, जो हम जगते हैं, ये अजब है, ये हमने ऐसा कभी नहीं किया, ऐसा नहीं हुआ है। हमारा जीवन पद्धति, हम आज भी जिनको मान्यवर बोलते हैं, ऋषि मुनि जी थे, उनका जीवन पद्धति जो था इतना सिंपल था, उतना होना सबको मालूम, सबको पॉसिबल नहीं है। फिर भी सब महावीर जी बन नहीं सकते हैं, मगर कम से कम एफर्ट तो करना चाहिए, बिकॉज वी आर ऑलमोस्ट 135 करोड़ पीपल, इतना रिसोर्सेस है किधर? ये रिसोर्सेस कल खत्म हो गया तो सबको शिक्षा मिलेगी, परिसर को भी बहुत हानि पहुंच जाएगी, बहुत तकलीफ होगा। इसीलिए हम जीवन पद्धति में बदलाव करना बहुत जरूरी है। इसके बारे में भी हमने इतना अभी आधा पौन घंटा इसके बारे में ही चर्चा की है। हमारा फ्यूल्स जलाने के लिए जो शक्ति का स्रोत है, ईंधन का स्रोत है, वो किधर से लाना, कैसा वो सिंप्लीफाई कर सकते हैं, ऐसा और कितना कम ईंधन हम इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, इसके बारे में भी हमने अभी चर्चा की है। और जो अभी 1 घंटा में जो हुआ, मैं सभी हिंदी में और करना बैठा तो और 1 घंटा जाएगा, और एक बार मैं हिंदी में ही प्रोग्राम करूंगा, तब आपसे जरूर बात करना चाहूंगा। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Dr. Anandi Subramanian, who is a former economic advisor and founder of Soaring Sparrows Foundation, to share her views on waste to wealth.
Well, I think one of our speakers has just said that waste to wealth is something that we should not say. So I think you should start avoiding it now. But maybe you can coin a different term, Dr. Mohini, whatever the thing is, then I think others can start using it. Yeah, it's been very illuminating, especially because you put it in very simple words for people to understand what we can do. And I think where we find it a little difficult is that the last mile, like, how individuals can use all these processes. But I think, like you mentioned about the wet waste, how the community can do it. I think that's very important. Probably we can definitely, use this concept even in our mission life. Actually, I'm a consultant to the unit now, working on this mission life. So I can definitely use this, whatever you've suggested, for community level, projects. But do you have examples of these projects running in anywhere then, which you can just share with us? You don't have to tell us now, but later on, you can just share it with us so that we can incorporate it in our report. That would really benefit, and we can say that these models are already working, and we can kind of replicate them in other areas. That would really, help us to take it forward, because what we require is, like you've mentioned, the simple lifestyle habits. How do you do that? That's pretty difficult, because that's where we are placed, that we have to try to change the behavior of people, nudge them into doing, like you've mentioned about houses. People want big houses, whether many people are there or not, or they want 2-3 cars, they want everything. So that is the aspirational part of it, which we have to tackle, and all that. So that part remains. But I think it is very interesting, and I would love to have another discussion with you later on this aspect of how we can really develop. Maybe when we have the brainstorming session on this, I think definitely your inputs will be very beneficial to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Dr. TVRAMACHANDRA sir to share his views.
Namaskara, Acharya ji, Namaskara. So, thank you for a very interesting talk, and I am sure many students who are following this will be benefited by your knowledge, vast knowledge, and also you have demonstrated how one can manage the city waste appropriately.
True, sir.
Can lead a life without creating a waste in the system. So probably that message youngsters will take it forward. And parallelly we are streaming this in Facebook as well as on the YouTube also. Many other youngsters are taking part in the YouTube, because there's a limit on the Geo Meet. We have asked them to come on the YouTube. So certainly they will be benefited by this. And more importantly, as a part of the life program, so Madam Anandi Subramanian is going to conduct a brainstorm session on various aspects of the life, how to lead an environmentally friendly lifestyle. Probably we will count upon you for that more input to that during the brainstorming session, which is likely to happen in about 30 or 45 days from now. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge, and nice to see you both on the same screen. And thank you very much for having a very lively and very fruitful discussion, and also your answers to the many questions. The participants raised a very interesting questions, and your message is quite loud and clear. I am sure they will take it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. DrVaman Acarya as well as Mohini Acharya for sharing your views, and also the sharing the technological advancements along with the solutions for the problems which mankind is facing. So I think students as well as the participants got benefited by your views and as well as your suggestions. So as sir mentioned, we will have a brainstorming session soon, and we will take your ideas forward. And I request all the participants to subscribe our YouTube channel so that you will get notified with respect to our live webinar series. So with this, I'm closing the session. Thank you one and all for active participation. Thank you so much. Thank you.